Hello again. We are together with the presentation again, subjected to human origin and evolution. I'm so glad that I have made this presentation for you to inform you for the latest researches as well as the trends about the human origin and evolution. And I also would like to aim to develop the all new theories based on the scientific evidence, and also I'm making this presentation because I think it is very important to understanding the species origin 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 because if you are a person who never heard about evolution, it might be a very great opportunity for you to discover about it, because it actually descends from individual to individual, from species to species. I mean, that's the correct word. From species to species, it descends, and also it explains all the creatures, living creatures of the world, descended from each other. And yeah, it's very I think enjoyable, because I love studying it, and then it's very uh, it's very good research, I guess, because I always loved studying evolution and human origins. So let's start again. Yeah, I'm a Gözcan. I'm a anthropology. I was an anthropology student, but I have graduated from anthropology department. But now I'm making research related to anthropology. So I train myself as well as studying, trying to enter the study area. And yeah, it's a quite good work. Yeah, so let's start about evolution. Let's start from the basic definition of a dictionary. So evolution is, as you can see, is a gradual development of process and gradual process of change and development. So we can think from this definition as an evolution as a process and change. And there is always a one creature. Let's imagine like this: there is a creature in the world, and then after in a over period of time, and one creature occurs from that creature. And if that creature share similar characteristics but different features from that individual, that there may have to be an evolution occurring in that area, because in an example, we study all human related studies as anthropologists, and also biologists study all living creatures, and they all approach the evolution in terms of descendancy. And also the one other thing about I would like to say about the evolution is that it's a gradual process, as you can see from the definition. It's in that gradual process, people, sorry, how can I say? Individuals that might be any animal or living creature, anything, are descends from another individual. Descends from individual descends from the same individual, but that descended individual shares a different similar characteristics, although it's not the same. It's just from some part of it same, but some part of the characteristics are similar, and other parts are not similar. So if they are, of course, same, they would be the same creature. They would be the same creature. But however, if they are different, of course, we would say that they are not totally same. But they might actually share similar characteristics. That's what also this presentation will be based on. And on the future slides, I will tell you more about the evolution. And also from this part, I just wanted to show you the definition of evolution. And then also one other interesting thing about evolution is that who developed evolution theory? Well, Darwin is the creator of the evolutionary theory. Before that, from the books that I've written scientifically, but also belonging to biological anthropology, I don't know the writer, but also but another book related to anthropology. I think it was the classification of the Linnaeus, and in the Linnaeus classification, individuals created by God was the very dominant theory at that time. But now uh, they find an evidence which individual can be descended from. This is the very I think the big not invention, but it's a very big change throughout history, because everybody is taught, everybody's almost different people, different type of thoughts occurred, and in that thought, actually, evolution played a very great role to change the cliches about the creation of individual, and also in giving all these elements, evolution was almost kind of an alternative things about what kind of what kind of individual was created from who, from what, from who, and that for finding the answer, evolution is very great work to be answered, to answer the question about who created from who. And yeah, and also this is the very interesting thing about evolution, because I almost explained the basic layer of history about descendancy, and also relatedness, and also I mean relatedness between individuals and characteristics, different characteristics. I almost explained this, and this evolution is based on explaining all those features almost. Yeah, and let's start, and let's go to another slide about as I explained to you, evolution was created by Darwin, but on the explaining human origins, Darwin was the very good example of explaining the origins of species, but also when you think about the commentary of the in the human individuals explaining human evolution, the common idea is that humans evolved from chimpanzees. I mean, we share similar characteristics with chimpanzees, and actually chimpanzees are not same with us, but they are different almost with just 2 chromosomes, because we carry 46 chromosomes for each of us, but chimpanzees carry 48 chromosomes. And then another study, geneticists found about chimpanzees is that they share similar DNA types with us actually, but however they are not the same, of course. But also what I would like to say is that they compared all those genetic traits of chimpanzees and humans with rats, and rats were totally different. And when they found this, that actually explains about how we are related to each other with chimpanzees, although we do not seem to each other. But however, we can see that the chimpanzees, like Evrim Ağacı, which is a Turkish blog, and also Turkish foundation, I might say, but that they do not donate money, but they are community, and they study about evolution. And then what they showed us in that sharing of Facebook and Instagram post was that baboons, I think, a one primate, which might be gibbons, were driving a car which is electrical, But however, I'm not very sure about which type of primate it was that, but I'm sure about that was a primate with slightly red colored. And also that might be baboon, I guess, but I'm not very sure. I have to look at it again. And all, and when we think about all the observations about the chimpanzees, they are very similar to us in a way that they have to learn something. They do not have a trait that is given to them genetically, which is the case in the cats. For example, the cats are biologically brain given, and their brains are given, which means that they do not learn in things in life. Actually, they're coming to life learned, and they apply to it. They apply this information. But however, when we think about chimpanzees and other humans, they have to learn in life. They're not given any type of brains in terms of explaining the learning lifestyle. They have to learn. So that what defines primates and humans commonly, and then they share that characteristic. They share that characteristics as a similar. For this reason, they share that similar characteristics as well as other characteristics such as walking. However different they are walking different, but they share what else. They're open to learning mathematics or then different human related kind things, and yeah, that's very interesting to know. And what I find, what I can say about evidence of learning is that red haired primates can ride an electrical bicycle. They can learn. So this is the very important things about them. And on the other side of the primates, what I know about human evolution human evolution is that humans are sharing its characteristics with chimpanzees. And the main picture of that is in the next slide, so I will explain it later. And yeah, also I explained that DNA evidence, and also I explained that humans evolved from monkeys, but also very important, like how can I say, now we can know that primates are learning many things like us, but I don't know how far they are able to learn. But that's what I know about what I know about humans and primates. Basically, they are open to learning. They can, even though they may learn things that humans do. Primates can learn things that humans do, but I don't know how far they can learn. Yeah, so look, let's investigate this picture. This picture is a simple, very simple evolution of primates from each other, and also this picture tells about very different characteristics of an individuals. Actually, we share with as a humans with chimpanzees similar characteristics, at least back to 10 million years ago. And after about how many years, about 7 to 5 million years, which is related to this picture. But however, it's not very certain that when they evolved. There's lots of evolutionary theories about when they evolved. But however, there's lots of answers. So I gave this a picture for explaining the human evolution. So I can say from regarding this picture, humans are evolved from about 7 to 5 million years from chimpanzees, and then But also there's another commentary about them. From the new studies shows that gibbons are sharing a same share. Gibbons have evolved from us at the same time with chimpanzees. So there's also evidence about that part I have seen, but I will also would like to inform you about those features in terms of explaining the different characteristics, and that is, for example, there's lots of evolution ongoing throughout the history. We know the evidence based on such as this picture, but we cannot know exactly how they evolved because we are looking first about instances of when they separated from each other, and then giving those informations, we are trying to explain that information. So based on explanation of those features of different primates, which is one of them is small primate and another of them is bigger primates. And also this is very basic picture of the human evolution, for example. By the way, the Darwin is the one who's put picture into the as humans. Yeah, and these are the kinds of Homo sapiens picture, which is related to understanding the different types of humans, and as well as different types of hominins of throughout the history. Sorry about that. And when explaining about these informations of humans, we can say that there's lots of human types throughout the history, from extending back to 3 million years ago. It's not it's not only limited to those people who are humans. I mean, I may be wrong, but also because I remember another Homo types throughout the history that was discovered by someone, but also there was evidence of different Homo. I'm not sure about that, but I may say we have to research on it, because I have seen recently about the sharings about it, and it was 2 or 3 months ago, or something like that. But yeah, given those pictures, these are the very common and new picture of the picture of early homos and human types, and what we call between Homo erectus and Homo sapiens living creatures as a human, as what we call between Homo erectus and Homo sapiens living creatures. Are as a archaic Homo. And in that presentation, I will briefly explain about the Neanderthal diet, and that it's also called Homo neanderthalensis. And also there's a newly discovery about Homo naledi. It was not very common during my study years. I haven't heard about it, but from this page and also in the relative studies, when I heard about it, I saw how Homo naledi was discovered. And also I would briefly explain about Homo habilis, which has lived between 2 million to 2 million and 39 390,000 years ago, and that creature was also regarded as first human, and I will also briefly explain that. I showed this picture because I would like to inform you about the human evolution, how humans evolved from each other, what type of research related to them occurred during the history. I would wanted to show you. I wanted to show you. So let's start. So let's go into the presentation. Neanderthal and Homo habilis are basically the old tool users, but however, they are not the first butchers the studies discovered, because the recent study goes back to, I mean, recent stone discovery predating to Homo habilis as a 3.3 million years ago. Now the scientists started to think that actually the extension of the humans who used stone tools and who broke the bones might be longer, because given that evidence, it is almost evident that there's a different stone usage in 3.3 million years ago, and in that area they might be different early hominins or early there might, from until now there is not evidence that they lived early homos lived in that area 3.3 million years ago. But however, there is a evidence that early hominins lived in there, so they might be responsible for using that stone tools. For this reason, the theory about the first butchers, or the theory as the first butchers of Homo habilis was not valid now. So it is valid. The current trend about the first butchers is that about the early hominins whose lives extend back to 3.3 million years ago. And then another features about the hominins and also Homo habilis, because by the way, the picture that you see is in here is representing Homo habilis skull. It's a replica actually, because the original skull is not there. It's a replica of it. I show the reference just below the picture, just below the informations about that. And they were bipedal. That was the really case, and it is regarded as the earliest members of genus Homo. I mean, they were the first Homo that was the earliest member of Homo family, as I showed you the other Homos. Let me go back to another picture. There is a Homo habilis and Homo rhodolfensis. There is in there, and Homo erectus has lived earlier than Homo habilis. So but however, there's also study that they lived actually in the same area in the same period. But I don't know how common that theory is that, but there's also evidence about that one. Actually, also there is lots of pictures about these maps. But I found that that's one the first that was very important, just to show you. And of course, the current trends might differentiate throughout the time. And Homo habilis its name signifies handyman, actually, which is creating a stone tool man. But also now other early hominins can be regarded as a stone tool manager and stone tool maker, because there's all the stone tool evidence, and then Homo habilis has not lived in that era. One another interesting difference about them, they have the smallest brain in Homo. Actually, there's a commentary about the Homo is that when I read the articles, they always show human brains got larger and larger as the Homo types passes from one to another. and actually we can see that in the writing that theory, we can see that Neanderthals as maybe the biggest brain, may have the biggest brain, but and actually, they're when it comes to Homo sapiens, they are not as largely brained and as Homo neanderthalensis. So we do not see the very common similarity in that case. And yeah, so when you think about the Homo habilis, you can see that they have the smallest brain in Homo genus. And Denisovans and Neanderthals. Well, Denisovans, I have no picture, but Denisovans are similar to Neanderthalensis because they have also largely brained individual. They have also largely brained anatomy, and also and from these days, what we see about research of Homo neanderthalensis is that they interbreed with Homo sapiens. Then that idea is getting bigger and getting more common and common. From now on, from about 1 year, I have looked at different presentations about human evolution and human archaic homos. And they say that Neanderthals have interbreed with Homo sapiens. And actually what they found about Homo sapiens genomes is that they carry 1 to 4% Neanderthal genus. So Neanderthals has not become extinct actually, but rather they live inside us. They became recessive rather than prominent to our genus. So Homo sapiens were prominent in our genus, but however, depending on the place from Europe to Asia, they found genus related to carrying genomes about 1% at least. But however, they didn't find that genome 1 to 4%. Almost they found none Neanderthal genomes in North African population. So it's still a very large question area. What happened to them? Did they become extinct in that area, or they didn't interbreed with Homo sapiens? We don't know. I mean, we have to research about it because I haven't experienced a researcher. I haven't seen a researcher who explains me the North African population extinction of Neanderthals or any other things. So we don't know why there is no Neanderthal interbreed with interbreedation with. Sorry, we don't know why Neanderthals have not interbreed with Homo sapiens in the North Africa. So it's still a question. And yes, another very important thing, one more important things about Neanderthal diet is that they consumed lots of marine resources, and and according to study that was done from Atlantic Iberia's coastal settings, they found that there's a shell medium rich not only among the remains of mollusks, but crabs and fish, but also among the terrestrial food items. And also, of course, they have not used all types of shells, and these are not the oysters, and these are not the shell mediums rich remains of mollusks from which the Neanderthal was consumed. But just note that there is the evidence that they consumed actually the marine resources such as mollusks, crabs, and fish. But of course, I don't know how they have done research about that in studying that individual. when I read the articles related to them, what I saw them about oysters and moist oysters, that Neanderthal ate them. And but actually, if they what if they did not eat and left all the articles in there, or just also took all the remains of took all the living creatures of mollusks from without intervention of Neanderthals. I don't know. I just suspect that whether it occurred or not, but there's lots of evidence about that theory, which supports they have eaten mollusks and crabs and fish. Also, so regarding that theory, I thought that it might be true, but I also suspect, because this is, if this is a science, then we must suspect in some cases. And regarding all those materials, mollusks and crabs, fish, as well as terrestrial food items. The theory is about that they have familiarity with sea and its resources widespread during the residency of Middle Stone Age. And also there is also evidence that residents of Neanderthals have also exploited stone pine nuts. This is very common in about 2 to 3 different resources. So you can see the references below here. Of course, I haven't given all the references about all my research, but I will try to do in next presentations that better fits the reference, because it's important to show reference when talking about science. And yes, Neanderthals' animal torsos and its fossilized poop reveal that they consume lots of meats than it was considered. So when you think about the animal, you can see the pictures what animal is, and also torsos, we can imagine the body without arms, head, and legs, and also fossilized poop is like the almost toilet of Neanderthals. Like they found the evidence of the poop throughout in the soil, and also regarded to studying them, and they found evidence of the meat consumption. And another type of L-Sidron site, there's a remnants of consumption of there's the remnants. Sorry, another site in the at the Spanish site of El-Sidron, there's evidence of consumption of pine nuts again, mushroom and moss, with no evidence of eating meat in the diet. The reference here I gave Sapiens. I gave in the below all those references about this page. But however, I would like to add that there might be some references, but I think that they descended all those all those information about these consumption of Neanderthal food related to scientifically written article. Because of that descendancy, I think they write this article, and I of course have read all that article too, but I have written very shortly, and I haven't gone into details. And another thing about the Neanderthal information about food is that from Neanderthal plaque, they found that they have a meat-heavy diet of wild mountain sheep, woolly rhinoceros. So rhinoceros. Sorry, I don't know how they written, how it's written, how it's read. I don't know. Neanderthals were commonly eating the meat mammoths. This is very commentary because relating to all those breakage breakage and evidence of mammoths teeth from different sites, we might see that actually mammoths were killed for eating purposes. And also another common theory which I saw in two results is horse consumption, and also steppe bison for consumption. Two results supporting that. Two results supporting ibex, and two results supporting red deer. Red deer, and yeah. So and what that research I studied up in order to write these information is that they were showing Neanderthal were skilled hunters who exploit prime-aged, medium, and large-sized game species. So they are open to game kind of environment, and then they try to hunt the species they find around them. And it's unknown whether they use a spear or not whether they use spear for hunting purposes. I mean, whether they threw the spears, we don't know actually, because a couple of results one result I saw that one of the results I studied was showing me that they did not have evidence of spear throwing, but there's a hunting usage evidence strongly from regarding these informations, and also according to the dental calculus study, the date palm has been identified at the Shenandoah, northern Iraq, and the use of legumes at grass at Spy in Belgium, Central Europe. They found evidence of different vegetations. And from last things I can say, there's evidence of using a fire. It's unclear now whether they cook food or not, because we don't know them about the fire, whether they used a fire or not. But we know that they ate food, and then they ate different types of foods, from vegetation to meats. When we look at the history, we only see that we only used to see that Neanderthals were consuming only meat, but there's evidence now that Neanderthals actually were not consuming exactly as only meat, but also they consume vegetables. But of course, I don't know how whether these vegetables were cultivated or harvested or not, because agriculture starts with Homo sapiens, and also it starts after 10,000 years. So what period I studied for Neanderthals was before 10,000 years. So regarding that evidence, we might not know. We don't know about how they found those plants, but they might be selecting the edible plants, especially because we have no evidence now from agriculture from that era, so we don't know about whether they grow food or not. And yeah, last thing I would like to say about all those presentation. Neanderthals were similar to us, but they were large brains, and also they were hunter and gatherers, but also gatherers, yeah, hunter and gatherers. And there is a reconstruction of Neanderthal bones, lots of area in the internet. Some of them are true, and but I don't know how. I don't know, of course, how far true if they are not reliable. And one thing I would like to share about with you about Neanderthals is that they share a similar characteristic with us, but however, they because of consuming lots of foods, there's evidence that their theory about Neanderthals is that actually let me remember, their brain grew larger and larger. So how their brain become larger is dependent on consumption of the food is one theory. But of course, I do not know how far it is correct, but there's a study about that. I have during my learning process, I read about it, and then I read those informations. Yeah, and also I showed you a very different diet from from these people, Neanderthals, and also plaque showed us very different information about which food they consumed. We can understand that consumption of food, and yeah, Neanderthal diet was quite very resourced as well as meat resourced. Yeah, these are simply things about Neanderthals. Yeah, and lastly, and I didn't. I hope you're still happy, and then you would like to hear more about Neanderthals. I'm thinking of sharing similar presentations from in the upcoming weeks of January and February. Of course, I haven't given lots of resources that relating my theories about where I descended from. But now, but from a new presentation, as long as I do practical work about presentation and also research, I will do I think better. So sorry about that. I couldn't give all the resources because I lost some of them. I lost some of them, but I can find it. I will find it better in the next presentation. So thank you for watching.